Hello, everybody. Welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Flynn. I'm here with the fantastic Demas Rusli. Hey, Demas, how you doing?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
That's good. I'm good, but the garbage truck just decided to come out and take care of all the rubbish at a second. So I'm sorry if that comes through the microphone for the next few seconds. We'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we're streaming and creating from today, and pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. Hey, what's up, chat? Good to see some friendly faces in there. Hello, Steve. Hello, Johanna. Hello, Christopher. If you're watching somewhere else, like over on YouTube, jump on over to Behance and let us know where you're tuning in from. It's always great to see new faces and familiar faces in there and asking lots of questions. I'll be asking lots of questions today because I'm such a novice in this area. I've literally never done a reel or created a TikTok video before. Don't worry, I will not be dancing today. So I'm going to be asking Demas lots of questions.
We're both not going to be dancing today, so
There's no dancing. No dancing, I promise. No one wants to see that. Even my kid looks at me like, you can't really dance. There's no rhythm happening over here. But I do like music, so let's kick the music off. Let us know if it gets too loud or too soft. You want us to crank it up. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Reels and TikTok today. So jump on in and say hello. So when did you get started with doing Reels and jumping into TikTok? You're a pretty early adopter for this sort of stuff.
I kind of so when I quit my job last year, I quit my job 2020 May. I kind of made a conscious decision to see what happens if I post actively on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I was posting 2 to 3 times a day, and I was just let's see what happens if I push this for 2-3 months. And it was fun because it was something new and something that I've not really done much in the past, making videos and try to make them engaging and learning how to engage the audience fast in the first few seconds, right? That's the whole idea of TikToks and Reels. And at first it was very slow. Obviously your account's not going to grow very fast. And I wasn't really doing it to grow an account. I was just doing it as a skill growing thing. I was I'm going to learn how to make videos.
Right.
Learn how to adopt trends to my style of content as well. So I guess the whole point of TikToks and Reels is there's all this music that are trending, and then there's people create trends from the music. So there's randomly there was one that was an album cover challenge where you create an album cover from the trend was anything can be an album cover, so any funny thing could turn into a cool album cover,
right?
So that kind of stuff, and then you see how you can adapt those trends to your own content and make it your own, right? So that's sort of the whole idea of Reels and TikToks.
Yeah.
So TikTok blew up, and then I guess Instagram tried to copy it. Not try to copy, actually copy.
Literally copy it, yeah.
And brought in Reels, and YouTube's now got Shorts as well, which is everything is sort of vertical short form content is sort of the thing that's blowing up at the moment. And I think it will be the what people will be watching in the future, because on TikTok, I'm seeing, I'm consuming news on there. I'm consuming sports on there. The algorithm sort of already figured out what I like.
Yeah.
So when I'm swiping through TikTok, it knows that, this is the content Demas likes. And so it's already figured it out, and it's good. And I enjoy scrolling through because it's the content I like. Even though I don't follow the people, it's it gives you the content that you want to watch, which is good.
Yeah.
And then Reels came along, and then I just started posting the same videos I was posting on TikTok onto Reels. So it always starts from TikTok, and then I put it in Reels because TikTok already sort of has a culture behind it.
Right.
There's already the trending songs and the trending stuff is already happening on TikTok, that people are usually just putting those videos onto Reels, and then it becomes a real trend.
Okay.
It kind of moves on.
Yeah.
And so I usually start off by making TikTok videos, and then I also post it on my Reels as well, as a hit 2 birds with 1 stone kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'll probably start posting the same things on my Shorts, because then if the platforms are going to be pushing them, then why not, right?
Yeah.
But I guess at the end of the day, it's not about growth. It's not about virality. It's more about just having fun and learning new skills and enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
And as long as you enjoy yourself and you're you feel like you're creating something you like, then I think that's the best part of it.
So it's a bit more about like challenging yourself and like thinking about your how your content might suit that format,
exactly.
more so than trying to make something viral, like trying to.
Exactly. And if it does go viral, that's like a bonus thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like you just want to create content that makes you happy, and I guess people who follow you or will follow you will enjoy, right? Or So that's the idea behind TikToks and Reels.
TikToks and Reels. All right. Well, should we jump over to your desktop? It's like flashing at me. This whole intro, like, because I've got your screen over to the side and it comes up a bunch of times and it's just kind of like happening. So should we share this with everybody?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's get stuck into it, ladies and gentlemen.
So I'm going to be showing you guys how to make 3 reels today. The first one is like, and we can't really hear the audio, I think, because of copyright music issues, but you can see these reels on my Instagram or TikTok. It's the same. And this one, the first one it starts off with like a flashing image that goes black, and then another image and then goes black, and then another image that goes black. And then it like fast-paced videos of whatever you want, I guess.
Right.
So I've used it to show my past travels. So this first one is showing New York, and then this next one's showing Japan. And yeah, I like making this because it reminded me of my memories of traveling, and it was fun. And this Japan one sort of has blown up the past few days. It's currently on almost 700,000 views, which is crazy.
My God. On Instagram or on
TikTok?
Reels?
On Reels.
Reels. Wow.
Yeah. And it only happened like within the last 3 or 4 days. Like it was on like 100,000 views for a while, and then the last few days it's just blown up to like it's grown like 500,000 views in the last few days, which is crazy.
That's nuts.
It's definitely the contributing factor to why I'm growing on Instagram right now.
Yeah.
And what we were saying before on Tuesday was like there was a thing where the CEO of Instagram was saying how like Instagram's transitioning to it's not a photo sharing app anymore.
Yeah, totally.
It still will be a photo sharing.
It's probably like favoring video right now.
Yeah, I think it is.
Reels in particular.
And like, I'm not saying you should just be posting Reels nonstop and creating things that are not your brand, but you should, try. If you want to dive into it, you should try to make stuff that's, suited to you and what you like and what you enjoy, and showcases your talents. So potentially you could do, if you're a photographer, you could show like before and after of your edits, or like you could show the behind the scenes of a photo shoot, for example. So like there's lots of different things that you can do to still stay within the realm of yourself. Or if you want to branch out and do something new, that's completely fine as well. As long as you're having fun and enjoying it, that's fine.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, and then I've just, since Reels came out, I've sort of tried to keep it consistent. And so I try to post photos and Reels and try to just mix it up, and don't just go all out Reels, all out photos, just trying to see what I can do and make. So at the moment I'm posting maybe 2 or 3 photo posts a week and 2 or 3 Reels a week. So just trying to keep that balance.
Yeah. Is it important to be consistent? Like, is that like a really important thing, do you think? Or is it just for your audience, or is that just good for you?
I think it's good for me to be consistent, but I think it's good for the audience if you're active. So it doesn't have to be consistent, but you should be active and like posting stories and posting, like showing the audience that you're there.
Yeah.
And you're still creating things, you're still making things, you're that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Then the next one I want to show today is this behind, like the before and after ones, which I edited the photos on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen that one, the link is on YouTube if you want to watch the past episode. And so this one we're going to be doing, and then the last one is this rotating one, where it's sort of an interactive one where it teaches like how to rotate like a still video, and you can rotate it in the edit. Like I'm not actually rotating it while I'm there.
Yeah, cool. So you've edited in post to to have that countdown and have the rotation thing. And so the idea is that you're kind of holding your phone and you kind of turn it with the. Oops,
yes,
away,
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Making it like an interactive thing for your audience to do with you.
Yeah.
So all the text and stuff, so like this, rotate your phone 360 and to the left in 3, 2, 1. That's all done in the apps.
Right.
But all the other stuff, like the video content, is all done on Adobe Premiere Pro for me.
Cool.
And the reason I do that is because I feel like if you put in the text and all the stuff that looks like a reel and looks like a TikTok, it feels more genuine to your audience.
Right.
Like it doesn't look like you've overproduced it. It's just like, you know, you just put in the text there. It's a font everyone recognizes. And I feel like it's better and more integrated within the app. Okay, so let's just get started. So I'm in Premiere Pro at the moment.
Right.
I'm going to click New Project.
Oh, just mention as we're jumping into here, if you want to check it out, Jahan has shared the links in chat. So if you want to check, sometimes the frame rates with video can be a bit funny in a stream. So if you want to check out the raw version, you can just follow those links along, and we'll drop any more in that we chat about.
I'm just going to call this name Reel TikTok or something.
Cool. So it's a whole new project file.
Yeah, let's just start with a whole new project file. And once it's open, I'm going to go window, and then I'm going to change my workspace because I'm used to like doing 2 screens. So the previous screen was on the other side.
Right.
But now it's here. So
like
it's all
dual monitors, you mean? Like when you're
Yeah. So I think this is what people's Premiere Pro usually looks like.
Yeah, that's pretty much out of the box usually.
Yeah.
Like this, yeah.
So what I usually do to start off with is to find a song first, or find I think the song usually generates the idea for me. Usually most of the time. And so what I like to do to get the song onto Premiere Pro is I usually screen record the app. So it would be either TikTok or Reel, and I would just go on my phone, screen record, make sure that it's recording the audio of your phone, not the audio of the mic.
Right.
And then you screen record it. Once you have that file in your gallery, I send it to my computer via Dropbox.
Right.
So that's sort of the process that I do to get the music onto the computer and onto Premiere Pro. And the reason why I don't edit on the apps is because it can be a bit cumbersome. Like just everything's so small on a phone.
Yeah.
You can't really like pinpoint exactly where you want your cuts.
Right.
That kind of stuff. And on the computer, you can also see like the sound waves. So like if you're trying to time something to a beat, it works really well on a computer. And yeah, I think there's just more flexibility and tools that are present on a computer rather than the apps. I mean, the apps are cool because then they have like filters and stuff that like, you know, there's like green screen filters and like there's all this kind of stuff that you can do on the app, which is great. But for my style of content that I'm going to show today, it's usually best like I just do it on Premiere Pro because it saves me time, I think. And I can see it bigger and better, I think.
You feel like you can be a bit more precise with what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Sounds.
So in these, I've already separated the 3 folders. So the first one is it's called New York. I've just got this screen recording to begin with. So I'm just going to drag that in to Premiere Pro and drag it onto the timeline. And so it's showing this screen here. I'm just going to go fit to show the full thing. I don't need the actual screen recording, so I'm going to unlink it to the audio and then just delete it. So now you have this audio file, which is here.
And this is like the song that you've heard on TikTok and you're scrolling and you're like, cool, I think I'm going to make something out of this. I like this. And this is how you put it into Premiere. Cool.
Exactly. So you can scrub through it and listen to it as well. But the first thing I'm going to do is change the sequence settings to the right dimension. So right now my phone is spitting out a 1080 by 2400 file and at the 15.57 frame rate. But usually I either go with 23.976 or even 30 or 25. But I think best for TikTok and Reels is 30. I think that's just what the native frame rate is.
Right.
So I usually go with 30, and then I go 1080 by 1920, which is the file size for TikToks and Reels.
Why does it pick up the 15 frame rate? Where does that come from?
I think that's just the screen recording, because I dropped in, because I dragged and dropped it into the thing, and then it made the screen recording the actual settings. When
you throw it into the timeline, it goes, okay, this is what it was. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's really good to know.
Yeah, so you want to make sure your frame rates are nice, and also your video that you're recording is usually going to be 30 frames a second or 25 frames a second. So that's going to match the video that you're recording.
Right.
And you're putting in.
Perfect.
So now we have the files, and I guess the first thing to do is so I've already numbered all this, so it's kind of making it easier for myself. And a good thing for people making Reels and TikTok is to have your files organized as well. So when I was making this, I was just scrolling through, I was just like going through my gallery and trying to find like all the videos I've taken in New York, and I just like dumped them in Dropbox. And then I just went through one by one to find which one kind of suits it best.
And are they really long videos? Like, are you just dumping in like super long videos? Yeah.
Yeah, so these are like 100 megabyte files.
Right.
They're like at least maybe 30-second, 40-second videos, some of them. So if I just drag the first one into Premiere Pro, it's like I recorded at 4K, so it's bigger than what it is. And so you can just scale it down 50% to make it the right size for 1080 by 1920.
Yeah, so that's like your HD kind of size. Yeah.
And then you just kind of just scrub until you find the point where you want your video to be. I think for me...
This the top of the Chrysler, or are you...
This is the top of the Rockefeller.
Rockefeller, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I think that's a good starting point. I might zoom in a bit to get it a little bit better. But to cut the video, I just do Control or Command K, and it literally cuts it, and then I just delete the front bit. So now it's just a little short clip. And then I'm also going to do the same thing with the song. The song doesn't start from the beginning, so I'm going to find a point where it's actually the start of the video.
Yeah.
I think it's here. So I'm just going to, again, Control K, cut that, and then you can select the space that it's left, and then press delete, and it'll jump to the beginning.
Ooh, that's a good one. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, it's a good one, because then if you make lots of cuts in your videos and lots of spaces, you just click the space, and then it just jumps to the previous video.
Nice.
Like it just clicks back. So I'm gonna also either mute. This button here is to mute this track, so I don't want to hear the audio of the video. So either mute it or delete the actual audio track. So I can just do either. So I'm gonna unlink it and then delete it. And then because you can see here the sound waves, you can see the start point and the end point. I'm just gonna like make this end at this point. So I think maybe I'll start it a little bit earlier.
And question from chat, is that the Empire State in the distance?
It is the Empire State.
That's why you climb the Rockefeller. I remember that when I went to New York, they were like...
Yeah, you climb the Rockefeller to see the Empire State.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is the point where the song sort of ends, and you want that black screen. So you want to Control or Command K again, and then click the back side of it, and then delete it.
So what's the deal with the black screen?
I don't know. It was just like, it's a trend I saw on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I forgot what video was the first one I saw of this one.
Yeah.
But the song goes like, and then it stops.
Right.
And then it goes, and then it just kind of, I think it captures your attention a little bit, because it's like, why is my screen going black?
Yeah.
And that's why it's sort of a little bit more engaging. And then, so that, and then I can, because it's 50% and I recorded at 4K, I can actually zoom in and it'll be fine. So I can go like maybe even 90%. So here at the top, you can, once you click it, you can change the scale of the video. So maybe go 90. And then you can move the positioning. So it's like the Empire State's in the middle, for example. I might even go 100 and make it even bigger. So yeah, so that's sort of the beginning of the video. So I'm literally just picking a part where I like it, and then and it's literally just like that, and it goes black.
Right. So it's very quick.
Yeah. And then basically it's just the same thing over and over again until you fill up the whole song. So I'm going to drag number 2. It's just a very repetitive process, but I find this quicker than doing it on TikTok.
Yeah.
Also, I think on TikTok, you can't do a black screen. So that's why I think people are confused on how I did this.
Right.
Like a few people have asked, how did you do this, right? So this one, I'm going to grab this part where I'm kind of zooming into the fence. So I'm going to probably cut it here, move the cursor to the point where the song starts again, and then put it there, and then cut it again, Control or Command K at that point. So yeah, so once you sort of like that, and then it black, and then it goes like that.
Cool. Hey, there was a question in chat. Is there a reason you're using Premiere and not After Effects for this? Could either be used?
I think either could be used, but After Effects is more to do with effects on your videos. So this isn't really effects. This is just like cutting and putting videos next to each other and creating a sequence, which I think is better done on Premiere Pro.
Yeah.
After Effects is more to do with like adding effects and like, you know, things that are not, you can't just, you know, easily done on Premiere.
Yeah.
Cool. And I personally don't really know how to use After Effects very well. It's kind of like, people say it's like the Photoshop of video.
Right. And that there's like deep menus and lots of different things to be done, and yeah.
Exactly. Next, I want to get this video of a train in New York. So maybe I'll probably cut it around there. Maybe make it zoom even less, 60, maybe even 50. But yeah, it's a pretty repetitive process. So once you have the hang of it, once you have the base of it, it's not too difficult to get into. So that's probably what I want. And you guys can see it with the music on my Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah, we decided not to embed the music for this, just because you never know with copyright and music and YouTube and all that sort of stuff. So if you want to hear the music, jump over to the actual file. I guess to show something a bit different, if you, let's say, don't like the color grading of this video file, you could click it and then you could grade it differently on the Lumetri color panel here on the right side. And that's basically like Lightroom. So if I drag like the temperature slider, it'll go, you know, you can push and pull it until you like the grading of the video. And because each video is different, you kind of should grade it differently on each one. If each video was all the same, I would recommend like putting an adjustment layer on top, so it just kind of color grades everything in one go, which is much quicker. But because this is each video file is different and a different location, you might want to grade it differently. I would grade it this way, where I put it, I put the actual Lumetri color on the actual what is it called, the little video track. Right. Just kind of manually do it. Yeah. So like, again, it's like Lightroom, where you just like slide the, push the sliders left and right until you feel it's what you want. Yeah. And you can go as deep as like everything, right? Like you can open each of these menus and you can go pretty deep. Like it's pretty much Lightroom. Yeah. And you can even do all these curves and like, you can change all this. There's a lot. There's a lot to do. Yeah. Yeah. But for me, I find it like, it's actually okay. Like I like the look of these videos already, most of them. So I don't really touch most of them. So you can probably get away with it, like, because you would think that, oh, there's so many different photos, and we touched on this a little bit on Tuesday. Like if you're doing the side-by-side in Lightroom, like if you were creating a carousel or a series in one set location, you probably want it to, have a same sort of kind of tonal feel. So, and all that sort of stuff. But I guess in this style of thing, you're literally like jumping around, lots of different photos, night to day to different types of shots and everything. So it's probably less important, but good to know, like for the audience out there, like if you guys want to do that, you can.
Yeah. So this video clip is like a whole minute long.
Something on fire?
It's the New York steam stacks.
Stacks, yeah.
That's why, I was like, I spent like almost 2 hours at this intersection just taking photos and videos. Because it was just like, the smoke just went crazy. So I'm going to get the part where I'm crossing the road and a man walks past with his phone, like here maybe.
He's emerging from the smoke.
Yeah, and then I'm going to put it back at that point where the music starts, drag it back. And you can like go as detailed, like you can just zoom in. This slider here zooms in and out to all the videos, so you can pinpoint it to where you want, drag it, and then again cut it to where it ends. So it's pretty simple when you when you do it like that. That's already 4 clips, and I'm probably not going to show like the whole thing. Like I'm not going to show how I make like 30 clips,
right? But
essentially, like once you get to this point, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8. So this point is the 9th video. So I just drag the 9th video in. And then you can see also, right, like once you get to this point, you can see where the beat cuts as well. So every little spike up here is where a beat, you should put in a new video.
Right.
So that's really handy because like you can't see that on a phone when you're editing. So unlink, I'm going to get, this is the Dumbo in Brooklyn. So I'm going to get the part where I'm zooming in. So like that.
Hardest part about getting that shot is not getting other photographers.
Yeah,
right?
we went like at like 6 a.m. or something to this spot.
That's how you do it.
And yeah, it was pretty empty.
I got a photo of my wife there, but it took so long to get one that just didn't have tons of other people like trying to get the shot. But we were definitely not there at 6 a.m. in the morning.
So once you get to this point, it's just basically like one video after another, after another, after another.
Right.
This one was a time-lapse video I shot on my phone, so there's no audio file to it. And that, I forgot where this was at, but this is a really cool sort of bridge that looks down one of the roads in New York. I'm going to grab a part where there's lots of cars moving, probably like this.
It's probably on the High Line.
It's sort of, I feel like it's, I forgot where it was. So I'm going to cut it there.
Hey, there was a couple of people chatting about like using Rush as well. Have you tried to use Rush?
Yes, yeah. Rush is good. Very for like, I find for this, because it's 30 clips that you're adding, it's probably a little bit cumbersome to use Rush on your phone for this. But Rush on the computer probably is very doable on this, for this. If it was, let's say, only 3 or 4 clips, I would use probably Rush on my phone.
Yeah.
Which I've done in the past as well. And again, like for Rush, to get the audio, I would also screen record my phone.
Yeah.
And then chuck the video clips in and then put the audio in as well on Rush.
Yeah.
This one, you can kind of straighten it. Like for me, I find that it's sort of a little bit tilting to the right. So here in the rotation panel, I can probably go -1 or something, and then, or even -0.5.
Yeah, I didn't notice it was tilted, but then until you said it.
Yeah. So then, yeah. But yeah, so it's pretty manual process, but at the end of it, it'll probably take, if you have your files organized, maybe like half an hour to get this video done. But yeah, 50%. Here, there's another smokestack. I'm going to get the part where there's a New York taxi, sort of the yellow taxi driving past. Oops. Unlink that. But yeah, so that's sort of the process that I go through to create a reel. But yeah, so it's like that, and it's very fast paced.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the whole idea behind it. I usually, again, cut it at about 15 to 20 seconds. So like if the song keeps going all the way to like 30, 40 seconds, like the general rule of thumb for like short style videos, unless it's like a tutorial style or like some sort of thing where you're telling a story where it's like it needs longer. Even if it's a story, like you want it to be so fast paced that like it engages the audience really quickly. I usually cut it at about 15, 20 seconds. So here I would just drag it back to 15, 20 seconds. And then, once it's all filled up to the end, the result, it's like this is what I prepared earlier kind of thing. So the result should look like the video I posted on my Instagram last night, which is what this is.
Yeah, cool. And do you just like export it as like, what do you export it as? You don't have to export
I can
it
show you
now.
So once it's all filled up, I go File, Export, and then Media. And once this menu appears, I go H.264, match source high bitrate. I usually just keep it as is, and then I just go render at maximum depth and use maximum render quality, and then I export.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much it. Like nothing too fancy or anything. You could try to push this like bitrate settings like to pass or something and increase the target bitrate, but I don't usually do that. The files get much bigger, and like it's on like it's such a fast-paced video, and it's on an app, so Instagram's going to compress it anyways to what it is, so I just leave it as is.
Cool.
And that's it.
There you go.
The next one I wanted to show was that before and after one. So I'm just going to duplicate this sequence. So right now it's called screen recording. I'm just going to change the name, double click it and change the name to New York. So the green ones are the sequences, and it's got this little icon. So you can right click and then duplicate. And then once you double click on it, it opens up that copy sequence.
Right.
I'm going to change this one to before after. So this is the new one we're going to do. We're going to delete everything on here. The good thing about this is because it keeps that 1080 by 1920 and 30 frames per second timeline. So it doesn't, it keeps it the same.
That's cool. So you don't have to start like a whole new project each time.
Yes. So I have a project where it's all my TikTok videos. So I just keep making new sequences and new sequences.
Right.
It's starting to get a little bit slow because there's so many videos on there. So once that starts to happen, I usually start a new one called TikTok 2 or something.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go back before and after. And again, I've already done like this screen recording. And then I drag and drop it and put it into here. And it's going to ask, the clip doesn't match the sequence. But I'm just going to do keep existing settings.
And so that keeps the settings that you already have in After Effects rather than
in
changing the settings Premiere based on rather than bringing the file. Yeah, because that comes up for me quite a lot because often work with video files or something that I haven't necessarily shot myself. Okay.
So then again, I'm going to just cut it at the beginning and then there's a song here and then cut it at the end as well. So this one's shorter, it's about 13 seconds. You don't need the actual video file, the screen recording of it, so just delete that. And now you can just work with the audio waves. When I do this, right, it's obviously when to export, it's going to give out the audio of the actual video from Premiere Pro. But when you get onto the app, you should also replace that audio with the song on the app.
Right.
So that like it registers as part of like a song catalog. So like if people click on the song, your video appears with the rest of the videos for that song.
Right.
So that's a thing you should remember to do, because otherwise it's just going to appear as original audio by you, and there's only going to be one video for that specific audio.
Yeah, it won't link to within anyone else that's done it. Okay, so do you actually take away? When you export, do you actually mute the audio file?
I can either mute the audio file or I mute the audio that's from TikTok.
Right.
So
Which
like
do you do?
So if it's just a straight song, I mute the audio from TikTok because it's already lined up, right? So it's like heaps easier. I don't need to trim it or line it up properly on the app. But for this one, for example, once the first photo appears, I'm going to add like a little camera shutter sound effect, which is this file that I have. So if I add this camera shutter sound effect,
so it's just a like little audio file.
Yeah, it's a little audio file that has like a little like click, like a camera shutter sound. Once that is in there, if you replace the audio in the app, that camera shutter sound is gone.
Yeah.
So you won't hear it anymore. And so if it's like this and I have other effects, other sounds with it, then I usually just mute the one in TikTok or on Reels. So that's I guess a handy tip to do.
Nice.
So this one, it starts off with a little video file. So it's just like the little intro screen that says like Instagram versus reality or something. So it starts off here. So this is where the first song comes in. Delete that, delete this, delete this. So it's just like, I might zoom in a bit, maybe like 20 or something. I'm just showing the little island because that's sort of the first photo that comes up.
Right.
Rotation, let's do 2 degrees to make it a bit straighter. So something like this. That's just the beginning frame. So on Instagram or TikTok, I'm going to add the text that says like Instagram versus reality. And then it cuts to the first photo. So you should have the files already. So this is the before and after of the first one. So I'm just going to drag both of them in. And it comes out as like photo files. And they're quite big. And I'm going to do the first one. And then you listen to the audio and pick where the second one needs to go. Oh, wait, sorry, it's here.
So you're matching it, you're deciding where it's going to go based on the music?
Yes, there's like a parody of I Feel Good by James Brown. And this is where the parody starts. So that's where the before and after should happen.
Right.
The click. And then this is where the next song starts. So I'm listening to it in my ear so I can hear it. Yeah. But you guys can hear it on my Instagram. It's like this. So right now it's like very zoomed in. So what you can do is you can right click and you can scale to or set to frame size. So it like clips it back to the size of the frame. And you can set to frame size as well. So now you can get that smooth transition like between the two.
So it's like perfectly lined up.
Yep. And because your before and after files, it should be perfectly lined up. It should change really nicely. And then what I like to do is zoom in on it. So I create this nest. So I'm going to nest it. So which means it kind of groups the two pictures together. Right. And then there's a few things I do. So I'm going to nest it. I'm going to duplicate it by holding Control and then dragging down. So duplicate that, and then I'm going to make the background bigger just to have a background. So I'm just going to scale the background a bit.
I was going to ask you about the letterboxing that was happening. That's a pretty neat trick to get rid of the black bars.
So it's the same sort of, I'm using the same picture and it's just below it. And then what you can do is you can create a new item here at the bottom and go color matte. And then it's just going to spit out the settings that you have for your sequence. Click OK. And default is black, but you can choose whatever color you want. I click OK and name it color matte. And then I drag that color matte in between. Okay. So now the black is there, but I'm just going to make it like 90%. So now you can still see the background a bit and it pops out the image. And for the background, I'm going to add an effect. So here, there's effects in this arrow here. And I'm going to search for Gaussian blur.
Cool.
So I'm going to drag Gaussian blur, put it at the bottom, and then set the blurriness to like 25. So now there's like a blurry version of that image behind. And then to top it all off, at the end, because it's already a sequence, I'm going to zoom in on it. So to zoom in, you want to keyframe your scale. So keyframing means to set a point where it's at 100%, and then at another point, it's going to zoom in to that other percentage.
Right.
So at the beginning here, I'm going to click the stopwatch icon to create a keyframe. So it pops up with a diamond here. So this timeline here shows the sequence of that specific video track.
Right. So it's the full duration of what you have
this green
selected.
thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I drag this cursor to the end, and then I just slide the number until it like reaches to the biggest part. So maybe here. And then because when you reach the end, it just becomes black and it kind of pops away. So I usually like make the cursor like appear on this, like not the end, like just almost at the end. And then once I have the point that I want, I just drag it to the end. So now it zooms in to the end like that.
Cool.
If I play the camera shutter noise should be in line with the photo, and then when this hits, when the parody of the song hits, it transitions to the before and after as well.
Right.
So it shows the final result, and then it's the before, and then it should show it like that.
That's
so
really
I'm gonna
cool.
I do that 4 times. So this one, and then I show the before and after of these other ones. So like, for example, let's just show, like we showed this already, before and after. So that's what it should appear like.
Right. So it's after before, right? Like you're
after before.
Yeah.
Because the song is showing the normal song, and then it shows like the little jokey parody part of the song. So it's like it's showing how it's ugly or like not as good as Instagram. I wanted to show also, I shot these photos using this.
Okay.
So this is the little action camera.
Let me bring you up a little bit higher so we can see it better. There we go. Yeah.
So this is a little action camera that I was talking about on Tuesday. It's literally like a little buoy thing that your camera doesn't float away. I mean, sink. And I tie this around my wrist, and I'm just like shooting on this. It's like really tiny. Yeah. And there's a little screen at the back, so you can see sort of what you're shooting. But because you're underwater, it's a bit hard.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like pressing and like trying to get the shots.
Nice.
And because I guess it's like a small sensor, the raw files are coming out bland, but in real life, it's not actually like this. Yeah. So that's sort of the idea behind this one. Nice. And again, you want to just export the same thing and you know, the same sort of stuff. Then we can sort of move on to the last one, right? So
cool. Yeah, we've got a bit over 10 minutes left. We've got about 12 minutes left.
So the last one is pretty quick to do. I think it's got like the most wow factor to it, but it's pretty quick to do. So again, I'm gonna copy and paste, duplicate this track, this sequence, and then I'm gonna change it to rotating or something, rotation. Double click on it, it opens rotation, and then I'm gonna delete everything here. Then I'm gonna go to this one. I've got the file and I've got the audio track as well. So I'm gonna drag in the audio track, keep existing settings, unlink, and then delete this. And again, like you can hear, so this point here is where you want your rotation to start. And all this before is sort of like you showing the text, like get ready to rotate your phone kind of thing. So, and you probably don't need the whole 45 seconds of the song, so I'm going to cut it at about 15 seconds. So it's going to drag it back. And then I'm going to drag in the video file. So this is the video file I took on a monorail sort of thing in Japan, in Tokyo. And these black bars, so you're going to start off by just scaling it bigger. So just like making it fill up the whole screen. It's okay that you scale it a little bit bigger because it's sort of a video file. It's not going to be too bad. I'm going to find the point where I want to start at and end at.
Is it shot at 4K or is it shot
this one's shot at 1080.
1080, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that because you're probably filming a lot, right? Because you turned it into a time lapse, so yeah.
This is like 15 minutes worth of video.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start it off here where it starts at that station. And then I'm going to end it. So I'm going to go through all the way until it ends at that station. So I'm going to stop it there. So now it's like 5 minutes of video, and I'm gonna make it as short as 15 seconds. So to do that, I'm just gonna hit R on the keyboard, and when you're holding it, this little different cursor appears. And at the back, this cursor should appear. So if you don't hold R, it's a different cursor. So if you hold R and then do this, you can just drag it back to that end point of the song. And so now the video is like a time lapse. So now it's like 1,974% quicker.
Wow.
So then it should just play really fast.
That's cool. I've always right-clicked the sequence.
You can do speed, right, as well. Like you can right-click
manually, but I didn't
speed
know about
duration.
Yeah.
You can also do speed, so you can change the percentage, or you can do the time. So if your video, you want 15 seconds, you can click 15 seconds in here. But sometimes, like, because it's like a random thing and you want to just speed up a certain part, I just do R and just drag. So it's like much quicker.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool way to do it.
And then, so the point I want it to spin is right here. So here's the point you want it to spin. So like
is
before,
this because of the music? Like this is
the beat drops at that point. But like before, we did the scale keyframing. Now we're going to do rotation keyframing. So rotation keyframing, at this point, you got that point where the beat drops, and you want to click the stopwatch. Sometimes it doesn't appear here because there's like a little bit of a glitch on Premiere, but you just have to drag this a little bit, and then it opens up the full thing.
Right.
So this diamond icon appears where that point is. And then by the end, which is about here, you want another keyframe to happen. So you can either do a 360-degree spin or a 90-degree spin or a 180-degree spin, whatever you want to do. In this case, I'm going to do a 360-degree spin. So I'm going to do 359 here. So now you can see that it's going to rotate 360 degrees, right?
Right.
But because the video file is small, you're going to see like black corners. See how here at this point there's black corners?
Yeah.
So to fix that, all you just got to do is just zoom in on the video a little bit more. So you could try 200, or what you do is you could make it zoom in at this point, and at this rotation point, you can start another keyframing where the scale of your video gets bigger.
Right.
So you can start off at 180, and then at this point you can make it 200 or something. So you're zooming in at this point, and then you zoom in, and let's see if there's any more black bars. There's still a tiny bit, so I can zoom in a little bit more.
Right.
So maybe even 205.
You just got to make sure it's at that first keyframe when you change the scale, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now so what's happening with the keyframes of the scale is it's 180 here. Then once you get to this point, it reaches 205, and then it's 205 the rest of the way.
Yeah, so that's really interesting, because I probably would have just made the file big the entire time because of the seeing the black things. But yeah, it's a good point that the first half can be full quality.
Yeah, exactly. And then you zoom in, and because it's sort of like you're on a train, and you don't really notice the file actually zooming in from 180 to 205 because it's like you're already moving forward anyways.
Yeah.
And so at this point, the song hits, the beat drops, and then it rotates, and then it rotates the whole way.
Nice.
And that's how you make these videos. And you export it, and then at this front bit, you add the text on the Instagram app.
Yeah.
Or TikTok app.
TikTok, yeah. Is that a thing that's like easy to do? I think you mentioned before that using the UI of the app that you're using for some of that stuff is probably better, so it doesn't look like overproduced.
It's kind of like doing text on an Instagram story.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing. The good thing about TikTok and Instagram is that it has like guidelines. So if you want it centered, you can, guideline appears in the middle.
Right.
Or like if you want different fonts or like different effects on the text, like there's effects and stuff that like comes default on the apps.
Yeah.
Also on TikTok, the minimum like time for a specific text is 1 second. So you could drag the time of the text to 1 second, and so that's why it's really easy to do that 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
The countdown, because it's already minimum at 1 second.
Right. So you know it's exactly a second.
So if you have the one ending at 6 seconds, then you push that one to 5 seconds, and then the 2 seconds starts at 5 and 4, and then 4 and 3, and it becomes like the countdown bit comes out quick and easy.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more what is it, like fussier on Instagram, because it doesn't give you like the time, but you just have to kind of eyeball it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, that's it. So there's 3 reels or TikTok videos, and sort of the process of how I make those videos is through Premiere Pro and through screen recording the music.
Yeah, that's a really cool like way to do it. Like it makes so much sense. But I love these little like hack kind of ways to get things done. It's like, how do you get the audio file from there? Like, do you have to like find it on the internet and like download it? And it's like, no, just screen record on your phone, drag it in. It's really cool.
Yeah, because there's like remixes and stuff that like you can't find online, like especially TikTok and stuff, because it's like people just make these sounds.
Yeah.
And so you can, and usually if it's like a sound that someone creates, I usually like to credit the person that created the sound or something, or like or created the trend or something. Yeah, which is always good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, hey, we're out of time. That takes us to time. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for sharing this with us. Also, if you only caught this one, you didn't catch the one on Tuesday, check it out. The underwater photography that you saw then, Demas showed us some awesome tips and tricks on how to get the most out of, like, basically salvaging photos. Most important thing, shoot in RAW. That's my big takeaway. Shoot in RAW, and you can do a lot with Lightroom and a bit of Photoshop. But yeah, Demas, as always, thank you so much for hanging out with us on Adobe Live. It's a pleasure to hang out with you.
Thank you for having me, and hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, follow Demas on TikTok and Instagram, check it out, and see what comes next. We'll see you guys next week on Adobe Live.
Bye.
Bye.